Right, our first class that we've got coming in this morning is our very beautiful hack class. The show hacks are probably the most elegant of all our show horses, and they epitomise quality, elegance and grace. However, a true show hack should still have enough substance to carry the average adult rider. Our hacks in this country are divided into two categories, namely our small hacks, which is 163 metres and under, and then our larger hacks, which are over 1,63. Originally, many years ago, there were two different types of hacks, namely the park hack and the covered hack. Covered hacks were basically safe conveyances for carrying riders to hunt meets, while park hacks were for pursuers who rode to be seen. Two judges in the middle of the arena, our gentleman judge wearing a tweed coat and long boots and his cream-coloured jodhpurs, and he would be our ride judge. And our other lady with the black slacks and the jacket on with the hat on is our very senior international judge, Mrs. Sue Carter, and she will be judging the confirmation phase of this class. Most of our hacks that we have in South Africa are of thoroughbred type, but many successful ones have come out of racing. And although blood horses are usually very sensitive, they are not necessarily difficult to re-school if done correctly. Sometimes in our hack classes we might see that we would have a little bit of Arab influence mixed with our thoroughbred types. Ideally, we are looking for a soft, elegant moving and effortless natural carriage in our show hacks. The horse should be straight moving with very little or no knee action. The head should be well carried, and the horse should have a very pleasant head with a generous eye. There should be a good length of neck. The back should not be too long or too short, and there should be a good shoulder with a pronounced girth line. One of the most important features of a top show hack is the magical ingredient that is known as charisma. As the horse changes the rein, the transition should always be done through the trot. We saw a little earlier on that the horses came into the arena on a right rein at a walk. They were then asked to pick up the trot and have now picked up the canter. We are again looking for very well mannered horses with no excitement and just easily going forward, and should be a true picture of elegance and manners. You will notice too that a couple of these horses in this class are wearing white girths. White girths are perfectly acceptable in a show hack class, as well as leather girths, and it's just to add to the lightness and the colour of the picture. The horses have now been called in order of preference to come and line up. The lineup is always from left to right. From the judge's view, the judge will require a very short test from each competitor, and what the judge will be looking for here would be a walk, a trot with a lengthening of the trot, a canter, and perhaps a one-handed canter could be shown, as well as a lengthened canter and a rein back. If you cast your eye down the line, you will see that the first competitor is already off of his horse. As soon as you have finished your test, in the open classes, the horses will be ridden by the ride judge. So as soon as you have finished doing your individual test, you can dismount, run your stirrups up, and get ready for the judge then to call you forward when he's finished judging all his horses, for him then to be able to sit on your horse and have a feel. In our open SASA showing classes, you will see that every one of the competitors has to wear a three-point harness on their hats. In our rules, which I urge you all to read very, very carefully, it will actually say to you to what safety standard that the hat should comply to. You will notice now that the first horse, now that it's finished being ridden by the judge, has now moved to the back of the line, and it's now having its saddle taken off for the confirmation phase, which our second judge will now be judging. This saves an awful amount of time for a show holding body, as it just gets the classes moving that little bit quicker. Our next class that we've got coming in is our large hacks. Our hacks were divided into two different height categories. This is now the hack class for horses over 1,6. Traditionally in a hack class, ladies would wear a blue jacket with a conservatively coloured tie with either a white shirt or perhaps a cream shirt or perhaps a white shirt with a little bit of blue in it, and then a navy blue hat or a black hat to go with it. The brow bands on the horses in a hack class, you would always wear a coloured brow band. If you have a horse that has a slightly fairly plain head, then obviously you wouldn't want to have anything too blingy or too bright on it, and rather go for something a little bit more plain. Our open horses are expected to wear either a simple double bridle or a pelham, and in adult classes the pelham is always to be ridden with 2 reins and no rein connectors. You'll see in walking around that some of these horses have got plaited tails, very acceptable in a showing class as well, while other horses will have pull tails. And you'll see on the horses' hind quarters as well that some horses have got some beautifully patterned backsides as well. And they're either known as quarter marks with the shark's teeth further down the hind quarter, and then the hooves would either be painted black or they would be varnished. Numbners underneath the saddle are definitely to match either the saddle or the horse, preferably to match the saddle. You'll notice the canes that some of the riders are using will be either brown leather covered canes, or they would be black leather covered canes, or jumping whips and dressage whips are not acceptable in a showing class. Gentlemen would be required to wear a tweed coat, hack classes as well as their show riding as well as hunter classes, and again with a conservative coloured tie and shirt. The judge will be requiring the horses to change the rein, and the steward has now stepped forward to ask the lead horse to change the rein. Again, the change of the rein done through the trot. And then pick up the canter on the opposite rein as soon as you get to the other side of the arena.